Good morning, traders. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the official Trade Talk channel, where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you guys become better traders. We got the breakout. We were trying to get a hold of this thing before it was coming. We were looking for the breakout to come pretty soon. If you didn't see Saturday's upload, make sure you check it out. We tried to get long right there. So we were aiming for the breakout. I do have a long side target of 35K based solely on monthly support. This push lower right there into support is where I got long right here. And then this wick occurred in the middle of the night while I was asleep and somehow stopped me out. My stop was well below this candle's wick because this was the candle that I took entry. So when this pushed into support right about there, I took a long entry, put my stop underneath the wick. And like I said, somehow this looks exactly the same on the KuCoin platform. This wick is a little bit lower on the KuCoin platform, but it's not that low. So that's going to happen. That's the spread, right? Occasionally, price does not have to trip you out. It used that when I was a beginner, it happened all the time and I didn't know what was going on. So I contacted the broker, and the broker basically said, yeah, the spread's going to get you. So I'm assuming the spread took me out of the trade. So I was not positioned for that long side move. I mean, obviously I'm always long spot, but you know, that's what I was looking for. I was looking to get long on that. So some people caught it, some didn't. That's the thing. You know, timing the market is difficult. It is very difficult. We were looking for a breakout because of this liquidation run there. That's the pattern that we were looking at so long ago. It didn't work out exactly as I assumed it would. Let me see here. Boop, 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 boop. Nope, 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 nope. Jesus, how many times do I post on Twitter? Still no. There we go. So this is something similar to what we were looking for before it happened, obviously. We were looking for a push lower. And I specifically said that I did not need to see a liquidation below this wick. I just needed to see all the people that are buying in here get stopped out before the run. Well, that's exactly what occurred right there on this day. If we go out to the daily, you're going to see just how effective that wick was. Let's do this. So basically, you stopped out everybody all the way to that big, massive downside wick. So anybody that got long after this day, more than likely they trailed their stops up to the last swing low, being this one, and that bad boy right there got them, right? So that was the signal for us to start looking long. The next day was tricky because it looked like it was going to go on lower because we got a close below support right there. Boom, there was the closure. So I'm thinking the whole time that this is going on that I still want to get long because this was the liquidation event. This pattern is running out of steam. It's running out of room. I'm assuming that this is going to occur really soon now. And we got long there, but you know, this day right here stopped me out. So we tried. That's the thing. You're not going to nail every single trade. You're going to get stopped out on some big runs. You're going to miss trades. It just happened to Jay Bradley this morning. He set a limit order on a beautiful EuroCAD short. This is the trade. If you go into the hourly, you're going to see a phenomenal setup here that occurred during the London session. Wick pushed up into hourly supply right there. Boom. He had his limit order setting there to sell, and the price hit the order, but the spread did not trigger the trade. And his target was low of day, which was this area right there. So that trade would have been an absolute phenomenal trade. You can see now that that has occurred. Price is pushing up. So what we're looking for this morning is CAD Yen. This is the trade we are watching. Now this is structured bullish on the daily. That's right. It is structured bullish. So this is a counter trend trade, if you will. Trying to get short on CAD Yen right now means that you are against momentum and you are against the trend. Now, this trend has been up for a while. thanks to yen weakness. But we are seeing now, we had a liquidation move this morning, last night, whatever, came up and took out these swing highs now. So if you're going to see a pullback back down to the 21 or back down to daily support, then that's where we're going to look. We're going to look to take that trade, and we're only going to look to make, 20, 30 pips out of it, and then we're going to take profits. Can't really target the low of day, as this is the low of day. So this candle made the low of day. Typically, the London session open will make the high or low of day. We're going to assume in this case that it has put in the high of day already. Now, the London session did not put in the high of day. The Asian session did last night right there. I did not trade at all FX yesterday. I slept in till 10 o'clock. So basically, it was just a slow cook some meat day for me. Enjoy the holiday. I was really hoping to be in on that Bitcoin pump, but that's just how this stuff works. And it's nothing that I did. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? You just gotta take your hits and keep right on going. Look for the same setup the next day. So now what are we going to do for Bitcoin? We're going to wait for support, because since I am looking for 35K, I do want to see this thing tag 35K. In order for us to get long now, we need support. Obviously, there's this level here. I do not like it. It was a trap. It did not act as resistance when price was going higher. This is the level that I like, 31,002. If this area can hold as support, it might not be today. It might be tomorrow. This was a massive move, pretty big move going to the upside, opposite the trend. So today might just be a slow day where hourly candles just chop around and make a very tiny daily range, similar to what we were seeing down here. These daily ranges were very small, not a lot of momentum there. So we got the breakout. This was the move right here. So for me, there's still a decent risk to reward up to 35K. So I will look to buy support if support is formed. Next area to look for support would be here, right there. So you got 31,002 and then 30,287. Those two areas could hold as potential support. Now remember, this day here, if it comes down, slows down, sets in a swing low, and then closes up off of support, the next day you will be looking for your entry, and you will be waiting for a stab lower beneath the low of day, as that will liquidate anybody that got long on this day. Then you will watch for your hourly support level to get long. That's the safest way to trade it. It might not even get down there. This might hold. This is typical for how Bitcoin trades. A lot of times Bitcoin will set in a very shallow support here, right? Big spike higher, comes in, sets support above this wick, or above this situation right there. Now this is also daily res. So you got hourlies, 2 hourlies pushing into daily res. That was the trade. Boom, up, expansion. So the same thing could happen. We've already taken out hourly support here, so I'm not looking to buy this hourly support, because you've already had the massive move. And the massive move happened on a holiday. So there's a really good chance that some of this will get sold off today. Dollar is strong today. And the SPs are weak. This move right here is lagging the S&P 500. The S&P 500 had a similar move, but it happened a few days earlier than Bitcoin. All right. People are talking about a decoupling over the weekend. I love crypto Twitter. Decoupling. It's been 3 days, bro. Chill out. 3 days. Right? That doesn't mean anything's decoupled. It just means one of them's a laggard. It happens. It will catch up. And it did. It took 1 day for it to catch up. Bitcoin is currently down on the day, but yesterday it was up pretty big. Yesterday it was up pretty freaking big, man. This little tiny pump right here got us, psyched out, and then the real one happened. So just yesterday alone, you were up almost 6-7%. Big move on Bitcoin yesterday, and unfortunately I missed it. So we'll keep pressing on. 31,002, or 30,287. Those two areas will look for support. If you get all the way back down to the breakout region, something else is going on, in my opinion. That would be a massive pullback. And I do not want to see... Let me shut this thing off. I do not want to see it give back all those gains. Typically, when I'm looking for a breakout like this, I want to see a breakout like this. This lets me know that, the breakout is legit. It's good. So we're looking to buy the pullback. And you just got to wait for that to happen. It could take a day, it could take 2, maybe even 3. And then again, it could roll over right now and hit the support there and go. But that's not a good risk to reward setup. You're trying to buy the top after an extended move. Now, we have seen Bitcoin make daily moves before without coming in for pullbacks. Here, right? Once you get the breakout, you just go. You could see something similar to that, all the way up to 35K. And if that's the case, then we just missed the upside move. Remember, the trade we want is resistance at 35K. That is the trade, not this. This was just a tradable move up, but we were really looking for monthly support. Because if we get monthly support and it acts as resistance, we're looking for the next monthly to expand lower. That's the trade. Not looking to buy a monthly low in a bear market. We're looking to sell a monthly high in a bear market. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. This monthly candle looks pretty good now. Looks a lot better than it did. You got 14, let me see here. $14 hours until the close. Tuesday's the close. Tuesday is the close. No, today's the close. Today's the 31st. Today is Tuesday. Shit. I'm live, so it's Thursday, Tuesday. All right. I just woke up. Cut me some slack. Here we go. Pound dollar, not doing nothing. It's actually not, dollar had a move, so now it's just basically getting a pullback. We were watching the pound to see if we could get a breakdown. Once you get extended like this, a breakdown can happen on just sideways price action. So, I don't love it so much. The trend is down. Here, let me get back to the daily. The trend is down. You did liquidate this swing high. So, the short trade is here. We can take it. It's legit to take now. Right now, you're holding at hourly res at 1.26232. It is still very, very early. The New York session starts at 8 a.m. So you got at least 2.13 hours before that occurs. And if you're trading hourlies above 1.26228, I don't really like it no more. Yes, it can find resistance where that hourly candle found resistance, which is right there. So, I'll leave that up to you, right? I would rather see this thing build in resistance where it's already starting to build in resistance. If it keeps trading up at this region, it's going to look to me like it just wants to do a stop run and potentially keep going higher. So there's no daily level here. Yeah, there is. That's the daily level. So there is 1.26321. That is supply. Right there. So going back into the hourly, that's supply. That's daily supply there. So, yeah, watch that level instead, I guess. That would be better. People that got short on that wick low or that swing high right there could be liquidated. An hourly close above 1.26327, and that trade is off the table for me. Euro yen doing basically the same thing as CAD yen. You can see it tested hourly supply. It's starting to move lower. So most of the in pairs are going to look like that. We're not going to try to take the USD. We're not going to try to take USD Japanese yen simply because USD is strong. So trying to short this asset means you're going long Japanese yen and shorting US dollar, and US dollar is up on the day 0.32%. Typically, these are the areas where we look to buy. So you can watch USD JPY at 127 spot 810. That is old daily something there. Daily support. And then the next level lower is obviously yesterday's close. We'll see what happens. I don't like yesterday's close for a day trade. I like this up here better. Since we have formed an hourly support under daily support, then we're going to look for hourly support to hold once again. So this could potentially be a long setup targeting high of day. But you're going to run into two areas of resistance before high of day. So if you're able to get a very narrow, tight stop loss on this, let's see, then you don't have to wait for a high of day run. So just to the second resistance would be a 3-to-1 risk to reward if you were to get into something like that. Obviously, high of day would be much better, but that's a big move. But you can take profits at resistance, right? Once you got 2-to-1, you can start taking profits, move your stop to break even, leave a little piece on for continuation. Because on the daily, it looks primed. To me, this thing looks primed and ready to rock and roll. The trend is up, so that's what it looks like it's doing to me. But we could stop here, right? Absolutely could stall out right here. Got daily support. That's what's holding it. That's where it caught it, right? Daily support caught it. That's why it's pulling back. There it is. Boop. But people are shorting this because retail loves to call tops. I don't know. Let's go look. Let's see where is the retail at? USDJPY. We want sentiment. Just bear with me. I'm trying to pull up an indicator here. Yeah, so 65% of retail is net short on USDJPY. We'll pull it over here. Bright screen, sorry. Right there, bearish, that's the signal. It's supposed to be bullish. The signal is supposed to be bullish. I don't know why it says bearish, but 65% of retail is short, 35% of retail is long. Typically, the market likes to punish the mini. So if the mini are short, we're definitely looking to get long. The reason retail is short is because they're shorting the 21 exponential moving average, right? You got one resistance there, one resistance here. This is a trade setup I have taken 155 billion times. I don't have data to say if this is going to work out or not, but if we're long anyways because the trend is up and we have obvious support. I mean, when you build in a support like that with 4 or 5 days, I mean, that's freaking support, right? Test. So you had 4 tests of support. Once it was put in, then up. Yes, you're into old support, so this could be resistance, but I think that's what's got retail got them all tied up right there. So we're going to look for support on USDJPY, look for bullish trend to continue, and the level to watch is 127.754. Hourly close below, and you scrap the trade. All right, what is up? Good morning, everybody's good mornings, tons of good mornings. Good mornings. What's with the massive price difference between last week's close and this week's open on Aussie JPY OANDA? All right, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Let's go look. Oh. So this is OANDA here. Close and this week's open. Oh, nice. That's a good question. Typically, that doesn't happen on OANDA. It's just a gap. Oh, and Forex.com doesn't have the gap. What the fuck? That's just a gap. It's exactly what you said. This would have been a phenomenal trade if it could have been caught. Because OANDA doesn't have gaps. That's what they're good about. They have tons of liquidity. Something messed up. Some firm messed up. some firm didn't have the order book situated right. So when you opened this week, it opened lower than last week. Typically, what'll happen, even if other forex exchanges have gaps down, Oanda will typically open, and then the first 1 minute candle on the open will just be a massive bearish candle, repricing down to the gap fill. So there's never any gaps on Oanda's chart, except right there is one. I can't answer that. You would have to call them, my friend, and they will talk to you. That every time I've ever called Oanda, they have always been friendly and more than helpful. So just give them a call, especially if you were in this and you got stopped out based on that. Because on the daily, I don't see shit. The daily looks good. There's no gap on the daily. It's just on the weekly. They'll clear that up probably. But nonetheless, I mean, right now you're testing the weekly low, or last week's close, excuse me. I can't talk because I just woke up. Last week's close right now. I mean, it's a potential long setup. But if we're short CAD yen, or if we're looking for shorts CAD yen, but we're looking for longs USD JPY, I mean, this is a long. Even if you get stopped out, it's a long setup. You take that all the time, right? Hourly support's down here. Don't enter now. Wait for the push lower because it will happen closer to 8, more than likely. Closer to 8. I mean, there's nothing that says it has to, but that's typically what we've been seeing lately. Wait for the push down to 91.70. 91, what is that? Let's get the exact price. 91.753. If that area holds, boom, higher. Same scenario as the setup on USD JPY. Let's go check the strength meter. Pull up the currency futures. Nothing is moving. Aussie's the biggest mover on the day. It's up 0.43%. So Aussie's the strongest asset on the day. Now, this can change, obviously. As soon as new data comes in, new volume comes in, the strength meter will change. Let's go to FinViz, and let's just see where everything's situated. It's a free stock screener, bright screen inbound. Just go to Forex, close, and then there you go. That's your strength meter. That's where all the things are situated. So relative performance to the dollar, you got Aussie as the second strongest on the day. So if you're going to look, yen is damn near the weakest on the day. So long Aussie or USD yen today is going to be the pairs to watch. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Damn it. So Aussie and USD are the two to look for versus the yen. I don't even have Aussie dollar on there. I have Aussie dollar, not Aussie yen. So let's add it. We'll add it on there. We'll trade that today. Yeah, so I'm sorry. You'll just have to ask them. And then Ray, how was that stack of ribs, bro? Oh, they were phenomenal, man. They were delicious. I ate myself to sleep almost. Yesterday was a wonderful day. Marvelous, beautiful day. Loved it. It was delicious. Good mornings, everybody. All right, so we got that cleared up. Yeah, it was good. It was good, Ray. They were great. I didn't finish it in the smoker. I smoked it for 3 hours. Then I put it in the oven, wrapped up in foil for 2, and then took it out of the oven, put some barbecue sauce on them, threw them back in there for just a little color, and then boom, done. Last time I smoked ribs in that locker, it's a locker smoker. It burns wood chips, so it's very difficult to control the temperature. My ribs were dry as a bone, and they taste so smoky. It was like I was eating a burnt log. I didn't like it, so we went with the half in the smoker, half in the oven. They were fantastic. Juicy, tender, way ribs should be. How does that CO2 fly swatter work? It's shaped just like an old style revolver, like a Josie Wales type pistol. The barrel breaks down and everything. It has little caps, like the old school cap guns that I used to play with when I was a kid. That little round thing you put in there and it pop, pop, pop. Well, that's what it looks like, but they're built with salt. And then the CO2 canister, it shoots salt. It's a fantastic little toy. Very much worth it. Very much worth it. If you're having an outdoor barbecue or something and you got food setting out, the CO2 pushes the flies off the food and the salt kills them. I have a ball with it. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Good morning, fans. Good morning. Came in late. Yeah, I started a little late. Couple minutes late. Entry point for PGS US. I don't even know what that is. PGS US. Pegasus. I guess that's the ticker. Let's go out and see what we got going on. It's obviously bullish. I mean, now there's nothing to do on it. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you're seeing the run up. So, I mean, buying up here means you're buying the top, potentially. Next area of support is obviously the old breakout region. But that's going to make that candle look like a trap. So if price gets down there that low, just to test to see if it wants to hold a support, it's going to look more and more like you got a near-term top put in, as this bullish candle will be, considered a trap. Now, it doesn't mean it will be. It just means it'll look like one. It can absolutely find support down here at 129.70, but you're looking for those two areas before you're a buyer. So this isn't going to be anytime soon. This thing isn't going to be in play for a week or two at the least. Yeah, I mean, this week your bullish weekly candle is already bigger than last week's range. Last week's entire range. You're already bigger. So, I mean, weekly support puts you at the same daily support. Old breakout region. And those are the three areas. Anything higher than that, you're potentially buying the top. If this is a legit breakout, then maybe it does the same thing Bitcoin does. It just pulls in very little, like a small range day, and goes, but then you're still buying the top. Your entry would have been down here at support. This is where you would have wanted to take the entry, at support. Price comes in, trades down. Once you got back above support, would have been an ultimate entry. Stop below that low. Boom. But now you're looking to buy it and you've missed the boat. The trade is done. It's over. People that are buying today are just providing liquidity for everybody, all of these people to get out. Right? That's how this works. The reason you're seeing a bearish candle now is because people are taking profit. New traders are shorting it. Just, leave it alone. Wait for it to find support again. It's obviously bullish. There's no need to pull up anything. You do have bearish div on the daily. Keep that in mind as well. Bearish div right there. Boom, boom. Price is making higher high, oscillator lower high. Bearish div on the daily. Like I said, you get down there, it's going to look more like a near-term top. I wouldn't short it based on the bearish divergence because, I mean, if you shorted bearish div on the dollar, you shorted all the way up and you just got wrecked. Because there was bearish div on the dollar so many freaking times as this thing was going higher. We don't short because of the divergence. We just understand that the divergence is there. Therefore, getting long at the top doesn't make much sense. Correct? Hopefully that helps, my friend. Coca-Cola. I don't know the stock for Coca-Cola. I think it's just Coke. I know there's two stocks for Coke. We'll go with Coke. It's having a pullback day. Nice big move to the upside the last few days. Coca-Cola is one of the safest stocks in the world. This stock also pays a dividend, and it's a pretty nice dividend. I hold Coca-Cola shares just for the dividend payment. So I really don't give a shit what its price is doing. Right? 25% or 0.25% dividend. It's not the best dividend paying stock, but you don't want to buy it now. You're up around near all-time highs. Down here would have been the place to buy. You guys got to start to train your brain to like not look at big bearish candles as the end of the world. You got to look at those, especially in the stock market, especially with an asset like Coca-Cola, something that is literally drunk all over the world. You literally can't go anywhere without finding a Coca-Cola, right? This stock is something you just buy and you collect a dividend. That's all it is built for. So wait for another push lower. I don't see this thing going much lower. This is value. So growth, when growth comes off, value typically goes up, but this is a stock of such that just, you could buy $100 million worth of shares on this thing and not move it. There's a ton of liquidity in that. It's one of my favorite stocks. I don't buy it for its performance. I buy it for the dividend, right? It has performed decently over the years. It's a slow mover, typically. It's a very slow mover, typically, right? Very, very slow mover, which is what you want in a dividend earning stock. You don't want a fast, high beta mover to try to generate liquidity on a dividend. You want those slow, low beta plays. Coca-Cola is one. The reason you're seeing this massive shakeup is because that's when the bear market started for most assets. Or November is when we knew they were going to start hiking rates. So you can see just how much volatility crept into this thing. So this is portfolio adjustment, getting ready for the bear market. And then you did see a big pullback on a missed earnings, but like I said, how much debt does Coke own? Just when you're researching stocks for stuff to just buy and hold, you want to make sure they're companies that don't have a lot of debt, especially more debt than the money they have. You want them to have more money than debt, and you want them to be a broad company. As far as day trading it, I don't ever. It's not a good mover for that. It has moved pretty good the last few days. It's into resistance. Oh, I would look to be a buyer again at 525.86, maybe for the near term. But remember, this isn't find the all-time high and see how much it's off. It's off 11%. So, I mean, if the CPI number starts to trend lower, we got one lower print last month. We got a new month starting tomorrow. We'll have a new CPI print. That number will be important. If it's lower than expectations, which it probably is, I don't know the date. This website is so clunky sometimes. I don't know when CPI is. Yeah, I should just probably write. It don't matter. I could Google it and find out when it is. Just see if it's expected to be lower or higher. If it's expected to be lower, that's good news, and risk assets will start to go up. That's CPI and inflation is what caused the bear market. That and the Fed correcting itself. But a lot of these things that are off real big, those are the ones you want to buy as long as they're good companies. Now, Facebook was getting killed for something else other than, because it started to get hit way before we even knew the Fed was going to hike. So something has been going on there, some kind of news with him, Mr. Zuckerberg. Netflix is another one. I think they're going to fix themselves. You know what I mean? And it's 70% off. Where is Netflix? Right? It's very cheap. But that's a big hit. they took a hit for something else also. It wasn't just because of, interest rates in the macro. There's something internally going on within this company. They're not, the last earnings, they've been good, but it's still getting beat up. There's a reason for that. There's always a reason. But it's 70% off. So, it's worth a long-term risk. Just buy a couple shares of it. Don't go in balls deep expecting to get rich tomorrow on Netflix. It's not going to happen. But it is something to potentially have in a portfolio. But do some research and find out why this stock got beat up. Because like I said, it could be that Amazon looks as bad, but Amazon isn't. Amazon's only off 39%. Facebook's off 70%. Netflix, sorry. But most of your stuff's going to look like this because of that. But once again, CPI numbers come in lower than expected or lower than last month's. Then these things are going to, it won't take them very long to get right back up near all-time highs again. Literally won't take them very long at all. Boss, I have a question. Price closed above the 21 EMA on the daily. I was waiting for the retest of it, but was a bearish engulfing on the hourly, so that stopped me from taking the trade. What are you talking about? You didn't give me a ticker, Edom? I need a ticker. Are you talking about Bitcoin? There's no way Bitcoin closed above its 21 exponential. Or did it? I don't think it did. Yeah, it did. Wow. I haven't looked at the 21 in days on this. I thought it was still up here. That's a good close. That's beautiful. That means near-term bias has shifted to the bullish side. 35.60 is the target. You got to be careful taking trades after the pump. You guys got to switch your mind around and stop buying up here. You got to buy down here. Buy at support, please. You're looking for you to be in the position and this happen, not let this happen then take a position. That's a way to destruction. A way to destruction. I pretty much tell you guys what I'm looking for week in and week out. So if I'm bullish on the week, then you're looking to buy support. If I'm bearish on the week, then you're looking to sell resistance. You're not waiting for the move to happen. You're trying to do before the move happened. I just got stopped out. That's where I was entering long, targeting the breakout. Now, I did not expect it to do that. In fact, I expected it to find resistance at the 21, but I just didn't look at the daily yet 21 in a couple days. So I had no clue it was that close. And it is. You closed above it. That's fantastic. That's what we were looking for. We got it. Now we're going to have to position for the next setup. And it's not today. It's probably more than likely going to be tomorrow. And it's probably going to happen during the London session. Because that's the way these things have been going lately. They happen in 2 hours before I wake up. Just be patient. It'll come to you. It takes a while to get this stuff, but once you start getting it, it'll open up your eyes. The whole world will change for you. Cheers so much, Heath. I was wondering if you might be able to give your opinion on wheat futures. I don't know the ticker, my friend. If you give me the ticker, I will take a look at it. I know wheat and other things were going higher. But, I just don't know. BIST isn't a ticker. XU100 maybe. Yeah, gotcha. Same scenario as the last one we looked at. It's bullish. You're into resistance. The trade was down here. Once you got confirmation that you were going to see a bullish move, meaning a closure above the 21 exponential moving average, and plus this is structured bullish, you were looking for entries. But looking at the daily candles and the wicks, you did not get an entry. This was the only opportunity from the time that you closed above the 21 to get long was on this day. And you would have had to found hourly resistance inside of that, or hourly support inside of it. So the trade has already happened. Once again, you're waiting. Let's just go into the hourly just to see if it gave an entry. It gave a flawless entry. Absolute perfection. I mean, you don't get no better than that. You don't get no better than that. Come into hourly resistance, found support. Boom. See ya. Now you're waiting because your move has happened. These people are taking profits. And you don't want to buy their position because they're getting out. Does that make sense? You want to not be selling to them either. You want to just wait. The asset is bullish. Wait for another setup. That's a setup. That's what we look for day in and day out. Right now you're into resistance. So you didn't hit resistance either. So it could go higher. Absolutely. It could go higher. It could go up there and tag resistance or even break out. So watch today. Find out where today closes. Today closes something similar to this. If it finds support, then if you still think it's going to go higher, you can buy it. I wouldn't. This is not a setup for me. I mean, if it was Forex, I could see taking it and targeting these swing highs for a liquidation run. But you have to let at least this day close bearish. You got to get support. One bearish candle, 3 bearish candles is not enough for support. This is your next area of support, but that's a lot of stuff in the middle of that. So 240, 224.96.51, there's no hourly level there, but watch this one first. I just don't like buying anything at the highs. Gold. XAUUSD. Go look at it. Yeah, we were bearish on gold, and it happened. It worked out perfectly. So we're still in this similar thing right here. You were testing the 21 exponential moving average, got above it, and set in a bear trap, and then for 5 days you traded sideways. Now you're testing support. So to trade gold is you're looking to sell resistance, not the pitchfork. That's nothing. We take our trades based off of horizontal levels. We use indicators and stuff to guide trend, if you will. There, it didn't even tag that or there, but this is the thing. If this thing holds support today, if you close above 1850, then you're probably testing 1866. So if this support level holds today, if this closes above today, this would be my target for the near term to liquidate this swing high. Then if you close above, you're going to test the next level of resistance, 1883. Let's check the weekly range. You're trading inside of last week's range. Let's get it down there where it needs to be. Boom. Boom. So that's your projected range. Next week, your projected range. Or this week, sorry. Your projected range would be something like 1875.609. And then 1842 would be the low end of it. This is bearish, but yeah, you're targeting last week's high or last week's low. Daily, sorry. You're targeting last week's high or last week's low. That's going to be the thing. You're in the middle of the range. So you got to wait on today. There's nothing to do today. Let's go look at it. I take that back. This is the weekly open, last week's close. And this week's open. I just had to make sure there wasn't a gap. So that's last week's close and this week's open right there. Maybe you could short it looking for the daily low. There's no hourly level in here, but that's the weekly level. One could watch that to see if it acts as resistance. Or this level here, if it acts as resistance. So if you get an hourly spike up into 1853, 220, this top level, hourly close above it means you're not looking to short it. Nah, I mean, even if it got up there, I still wouldn't like it short. I think if it's going to be a short, it's probably just going to tag a little higher and go. The closer we get to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that's when these things are either A, the move is already set in stone, or B, it's just going to be a choppy, crappy day. Yeah, if you can give me the ticker on wheat futures, my friend, I'll look at them. Lashy. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. AXS. Wait. Next support for Bitcoin to get long. We talked about it already. We're looking for daily res. Old daily res. 31006. If you try to buy it today, you're going to get stopped out. More than likely. That's a very small range day compared to the one it had yesterday, wouldn't you say? Now, if anything, this thing's going to probably stretch back lower down to 30,000 bucks, 31,006. These are the two levels we're looking at right there. Boom, boom. Either one of these two levels, we want to see support. And then we'll potentially look to take a long. It's not financial advice, obviously, because if you know how we trade, then you wait on our setup to form. Then you look for that. Coca-Cola is one on the best. Oh, C-Cola. Is that what you were looking for? I mean, it's even more bullish than the one in America. Yeah, it's broke out. There's nothing to do on it. There is nothing to do on this. The setup was buy support, right? That's all you can do. You can't buy the highs. It's not a buy right now. SPX. There it is. SPX found support at weekly support. Old weekly support. Right there. Boom. So right now that's what's occurring. You tagged old weekly support, you're finding resistance. You're having a pullback. This is the day that you need to get closed below before you can consider this an old swing high. Yes, you closed below this day, but this day was a very small range day. I mean, technically this thing shouldn't have even been trading yesterday, but for whatever reason it says it did. Well, I mean, the SPX, this is the CFD. So CFDs were probably open yesterday for Europeans and whoever's allowed to trade CFDs. So that's why it moved. But I wouldn't consider that a trap yet. It is in the direction we like and everything. We do like to see it find resistance and then roll over. But you can't take the short down here. If the short side or if the sell side is going to continue, similar than what we're looking for on Bitcoin, I would watch 4180 for potential short entries, or the Heath level, the supply, and that comes in at 4169. So that's the only sell setup. So that means you have to wait for this thing to find support and then come right back into it. And if it's coming into it hot, it's something to think about. Hourly closures above 4180 has me not liking it for a short. But this isn't going to be today. More than likely, it's going to be tomorrow or even Thursday. But those are the two areas I like. And the only reason I'm looking for the short is simply because it's in a downtrend. Technically, out my strategy says that we can start looking for bullish entries on this instead of bearish ones because you're above the daily 21. But I'm a near-term trader. I'm an intraday trader. So if you're looking for longer-term setups, then you want to buy support more than likely and not sell resistance. But selling resistance could be a good trade down to the 21. But everybody's going to be looking to sell this swing high. Getting above this swing high, I would have just wanted to see a liquidation above it and then a retreat. We didn't. We closed very strong above it. This could be a near-term trend change. Remember, CPI is huge. Look at this support. All of this support formed in. You put in a bear trap with this close, see ya. That's dangerous to short into, right? So now you got to wait for either this to sell, and then you're only looking for a new low of day tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, not today. You're not shorting this today. And then you're only targeting for an expansion lower one daily range because this is likely going to find support. If the CPI number comes out lower, if the CPI number comes out higher, then I'll be selling any rip after that. Any rip after that, I'll be selling them. If the CPI comes out lower, I'm buying support. I am buying support, okay? Same goes for Bitcoin. I like 35,000 as a short if the CPI number comes out higher, sorry. CPI comes out lower, then you're looking at a new trend change potentially. I'm not saying that I'm looking for a new all-time high either. I'm not saying the bear market's over. This is the level we got to wait on before we can do anything. SPX already hit it. SPX already hit it. Look at that big bullish candle. Took out 2 weeks of price action. That means something. You did the same here, but you got a lot of bullish continuation. All right, so if you look at this right here, when this was pushing lower, that's exactly what this looks like right now. You didn't even come in for support. Same thing can happen here. This is the beginning of the week, so you're probably, the trade is probably looking for support. You're probably looking for support. I don't know, man. There's something different going on here. You could get bullish rips in a bear market, but SPX never hit bear market status. It didn't. It got very, very close. No, actually it did. Yeah, on the weekly, you hit 20% and then instantly bounced. It just depends on what you're looking for, right? Right now, anything can happen because the CPI number was lower last month. Euro USD is in no man's land. Euro USD looks great as a short, but the problem is you're already bullish. You're structured bullish again. So one spot 06807 is the spot to look for longs. Shorting is going to be, now that you've formed resistance there and had a bearish reaction, you're going to watch one spot 07823. But if you get that retest tomorrow, then this looks like it was bought, and I wouldn't like that short. The euro looks disgusting too. But this is Forex.com. That happens all the time in Forex.com. Yeah, I mean, I like that. It's in a downtrend, obviously. And you can go back in time and look when you had nice, huge trends like that. Getting above the 21 for a few days was still a no go, right? But we won't know until it gets back under it. Because technically on this set here, you're above the 21. You don't have a daily support until there. So seeing the 21 hold as support right through here and then break down, I wouldn't have been looking to go long that. I would have been looking to go long on a daily level somewhere here, but there wasn't one. But, I mean, there's many times where you get above a 21 in a downtrend and it continues lower, right? The 21 is not the end-all be-all. It's not the end-all be-all. It's in a downtrend. If you want to short it, look for 107.823. The short was the London session or the Asian session open. Yeah, the short was yesterday at 2 o'clock in the day, which is not a trade I would have taken. But in this scenario, you would have been okay, maybe. No, you wouldn't have. You would not have been far enough away for the spread to not stop you out at 5 o'clock. There just wasn't a setup. If you'd have took the first tag, you would have got stopped out there. If you tried to get short again, the spread at 5 o'clock probably got you. Because you're not very far away from... Oh, yeah. I mean, there's 30 pips. So that's how far down the spread could have gone. Or let's just say 20. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. So anything all the way up to there was stopped out at 5 o'clock, and anything down to there was stopped out at 5 o'clock. This is why we don't take trades, at 1, 2 o'clock in a day, because price has to be very far away from your entry in order to stay in it at the 5 o'clock close. I don't know when CPI is coming again. Carlos, I'm supposed to look that up. I forgot to look it up, but we're waiting on it. Last one came like on the 10th, so we're looking for it at the beginning part of June, the first 2 weeks of June. I just don't know the first day. I think the 10th, Michelle says, maybe. Appreciate your bid, man, bringing it to the people. Yep, that's what I'm trying to do. Not in Turkey. Oh, man, gotcha. Perfect, beautiful. Ethan Saul, please. Wait a minute, what does that say? I showed you my pitchfork previous time. To me, the low is in. Yeah, but you can't go based on just a pitchfork and say that the low is in. A pitchfork is a subjective tool, right? You need objective things to say that it's in. Yes, you are at a trend line, swing low, but the trend is lower. And for you guys that don't understand I guess I didn't click on it. They're talking about this. Or maybe I'm doing it wrong, something like that. But his caught that at the midpoint. That's the level he's watching, or she, apologies if Danny can be a boy or a female name. That's the level that they're watching right there. It's a midpoint of the pitchfork, and that's why. My bearish target for Bitcoin was 26K. And my bearish target for Bitcoin at 26K, I had that bearish target since December of 2021. Okay? So when my bearish target got hit, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not bearish anymore. I will watch 35K to see if it holds as the resistance, to see if it wants to roll back over and give us a few more months of downside to choppiness, then I will get short there. But as far as being outright bearish, in my opinion, this could be the low. The only reason I don't think it is because it hasn't hit undervalued yet based on the MVRVZ score. You still got a ways to go. And in every single one of Bitcoin's cycles in the past, the buying area on Bitcoin was when the MVRVZ score was undervalued. Every single cycle in the past. And yes, past performance is not indicative of future results. That is the trend. And typically in trading, we look to trade the trend. If anybody's new here and doesn't understand what I'm talking about when I say the MVRVZ score, you can watch any of my videos, or I'll just pull one up over here. It's just an indicator. There's nothing special about it. It's realized cap and the market cap. That's all it is. All right. But I look at past data when I'm trying to figure out things where I want to be a buyer on Bitcoin. And every single bull market cycle and bear market cycle that Bitcoin has had, it has hit overvalued and undervalued. In this cycle here, this is one cycle. These two swing highs, that is in one cycle. We go from having to having to having. That's what makes a cycle. Having to having makes a cycle, not swing high to swing low. So these two swing highs was inside of one cycle, just like these two swing highs was inside of one cycle. The new cycle starts March 2024. But as you can see, every single time Bitcoin had a bear market, it hit undervalued. It not only hit undervalued, it stayed undervalued for weeks and weeks. Except for the one time that we had a pandemic. But that's an outlier. We do not use that data when calculating longer term things. That was an outlier. It lasted for 3 to 4 weeks tops. It was just a liquidation event. That's all it was. But every time you've had a bear market, you have hit undervalued. And I mean every time. It's 100% hit rate. And we hit overvalued. On this push higher, we hit overvalued. Right? Boom. Now, this is just divergent. That's all it is. It's divergent. Because this line is calculated, this orange line is calculated from market cap and realized cap. Divided, there's a mathematical equation they use. I don't know if it's minus or divided, but it's those two data points. And then that's how you get this oscillator. So the fact that it was divergent there is why some people are saying that the bear market actually started on that swing high. This one is when the real bear market started. This was nothing more than a liquidation of the all-time high. You had BITO, which is that new ETF. Plus, you had the Elon Musk stuff going on. Boom. Use that to go up, smoke everybody, and that was the end of the rally. That was the end of the cycle. So this is the bear market phase, and, we're 6 months into it. Typically, Bitcoin bear markets last from a year to almost 2 years. To have a 6-month bear rally or bear market is it's unheard of, but we're in unheard of times, right? Bitcoin has never seen inflation on the US dollar. That's something to keep in mind. Four-year cycle models still intact? Yes. Four-year cycle models have been called the top in November, December every single time, and this year did the same exact thing. Same exact thing. This was crazy price action. That right there. So, yeah, the low can be in, but we'll see. Well, only time will tell. I don't know. Nobody knows, right? I wish I did. But the trend has been wait for Bitcoin to become undervalued before looking to be a buyer. And you are not there yet. You are close, but you are not there. Can you buy before you get undervalued? Absolutely. Will you suffer drawdown? Probably. Look at the crosshairs where we are currently now. Look at the support it forms at $6,000. Remember this? This is at 6K floor. Look at that. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. You see? Over on this side. This is like, with this, it's perfect. You got one stab lower down into there. Could this have been it? It could be. We'll see. I hold spot long, and when my KuCoin account gets big, I take that Bitcoin and I just put it right back into the spot account. Right? That's all I'm doing. I'm trading to make more Bitcoin. So I'm holding spot long. I'm not going to miss anything at all. And if anybody's listening to me, they're not going to miss anything either. We missed this. So I got to back that statement up. We tried to get it. I got stopped out. It's all good. But yeah. ETH and Sol, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I'll tell you what, I'll look at Sol because ETH looks exactly like Bitcoin. It's doing exactly the same thing. I mean, exactly. Solana looks terrible. Looks freaking terrible. I remember when this thing was trading for $1 million. It is bad. Yeah, 85% lows. So is it time to be a buyer on Sol? I mean, it's 85% off. Will it go back to all-time highs again? I have no clue. Nobody knows what's going to happen to crypto. Bitcoin is cyclical. This is cyclical. Everything is cyclical. So look for it to find support. That was a liquidation run? No, it wasn't. So you could probably get another stab lower before you take off to the upside. Or it's looking for support today. There is no support to give it, though. I don't like it. I mean, why is it 85% off? Bitcoin is 60-something% off. It's one of those things, man. It's impossible to know what's going to happen, guys. Just because I make a lot of good plays or make a lot of good call-outs, it doesn't mean I know what's going to happen. It just means that, you know, it was probable. That's it. It just was probable. So ETH hasn't even broken out yet. So ETH is lagging Bitcoin as far as where it is in relation to its 21 exponential. But whatever Bitcoin does, this is going to do. I wouldn't short ETH, no, because Bitcoin was lagging the SPX. We already know that there's a good possibility this thing goes with Bitcoin. So we're looking for support currently, at least until we get to 35K. Then all bets are off. All right, guys, you have a fantastic day. If I missed anything, or if you knew, or if you have any other questions, then just drop them down in the comment section once YouTube posts this video. As I always answer them. You guys make sure you trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.